Hi boys and girls, welcome back to Children's Church Online. Today we are going to be learning that God is always with us. God is the greatest. It's amazing that we get to spend time with Him. To help us think about that, I want you to think about a famous person that if you could spend an entire day with that person, who would you choose? I'll share with you who I would choose. I would choose a man named Bob. His name is Bob Goff. This is what he looks like, because my guess is that many of you have probably never heard of Bob. You can see from the look on his face that Bob is probably a pretty happy person. I have read a couple of Bob's books, and Bob talks about love. And he spends the majority of his time spreading love to others. And when he does it, he does really unique, amazing things for people. Like if it was your birthday, he wouldn't just go get you a cake and some balloons. He would fill your entire house with balloons and hire a marching band to play a song down your street. So I would love to spend a day with Bob and be inspired by how he shows love to everybody around him. Take a minute and pause the video and share who you would like to spend an entire day with if you could. Spending time with those you shared about would be really neat. But spending time with God is actually the greatest. And He's with us all the time to love us, care for us, and comfort us. Today's story from the Bible is about two countries that kept fighting. The countries were Israel and Aram. Israel, was full of God's chosen people, including a prophet named Elisha. A prophet is someone who God gives messages to so he can tell the other people. The king of Aram made top secret military plans. But God told Elisha what the plans were. Then Elisha would spread the message to his king, and the Israelite army would be able to avoid getting hurt in battle. Let me show you what I mean with a quick little game that we're going to play. In a minute, I am going to hold up some cards, and when I do, I'm going to give you I'm going to say something that if you're doing it, you're out. Okay, but I'm going to hold up some cards while I do it to try to maybe give you some hints as we play. So when I say, if you're doing this, you're out, then you sit down, you're out of the game. Okay, are you ready to play with me? Okay, here we go. First one. Let's see here. If anyone is standing, then you're out. Did I catch anyone? Anyone standing? Okay, how about this one? Let's see. If you are standing against the wall at your house, you're out. Sit down. Did I get anyone? Let's try another one. How about this time? If you are not touching a wall, you're out. Sit down. You're out of the game. Anyone? Let's play one more. This time, if you're sitting, you're out. Anyone? How did you like that game? A little different? What made it easy to avoid getting out in the game? Is it because I told you what I was going to say? If you read the card, you knew what was coming next. You knew not to be doing that thing, and then you wouldn't be out, right? So it was like I sent you a secret little message about what was coming next. In a battle, you get a big advantage if you can sneak up on your enemy. But the army from Aram couldn't do any sneaking because God told their plans to Elisha every single time. Because God is always with us, he always knew what the army of Aram was planning. When the king of Aram found out about Elisha, he was pretty mad. I mean, you would be too if somebody was giving away all of your secrets. Meanwhile, Elisha and his servant were in a city called Dothan. So right now I want you to imagine that you are sitting in the city of Dothan, and I'm going to read from the Bible. This is coming from 2 Kings chapter 6, verses 14 and 15. Listen to what happened. Then he sent horses and chariots and a strong force. They went by night and surrounded the city. When the servant of the man of God got up and went out early the next morning, an army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. "Oh, my Lord, what shall we do?" the servant asked. Now, think about this. We're sitting in the city of Dothan. We're surrounded by the army, the horses, the chariots, and they're about to attack. Have you ever felt like that before? Let me give you an example. Have any of you ever played the game Sorry? That's the game where you go around the board, you have your own color, and you try to get home before somebody sends you back to the beginning again. Well, sometimes whenever you're playing that game and you're going along, somebody sneaks up behind you and knocks you out so that you have to start all over again. And when you see that somebody's rolled the number that makes that they are going to land on you and knock your person out, that's how you feel whenever you're just anticipating that, oh no, they're about to get me and I'm going to have to go back and start all over again. Kind of feels like that, right? So there they were, surrounded. Elisha's servant was afraid, but Elisha knew God is always with us. Verse 16 says, "Don't be afraid," the prophet answered. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." Elisha was talking about God's army being with them. That means an army of angels in fiery chariots with fiery horses. Now, glance around the room that you're in right now. Do you see anything like that? Do you see angels in fiery chariots and fiery horses? Elisha's servants didn't see God's army like Elisha did either. So Elisha prayed. Here's what he said. "O Lord, open his eyes so he may see." Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. I wonder, could we find God's army if we look a little closer? Fire, what color is it? Red, orange, yellow? Look around the room that you're in right now. Do you see any of those colors around you? Look behind me. I've got a great big thing behind me that's red and orange and yellow. It's kind of like I'm surrounded by God's angels and fire, right? Take a look around the room you're in, see what you find. This whole time, we've been surrounded by an angel army. We didn't even know it. God is always with us. Like Elisha's servant, we don't always see that God is around us, but he is. After that, Elisha prayed another prayer. Verse 18 says, "As the enemy came down toward him, Elisha prayed to the Lord, 'Strike these people with blindness.' So he struck them with blindness, as Elisha had asked. Then Elisha tricked them into going to a different place, surrounded by the Israelite army. But instead of fighting, Israel gave them a meal and sent them home. And after that, the two countries didn't fight anymore. Wow, that's amazing, right? Maybe you've never been surrounded by an angry-looking army, but there are times and places we really need to remember that God is always with us. Maybe right now, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we need to remember that God is always with us. So today, we're learning that God is always with us. Tell about someone who's been there for you when you needed help. Let me tell you about a time that happened to me. I used to be a teacher when I was a little bit younger, and I had to drive about 20 minutes to get to work each morning. This particular morning, my husband was out of town for work, and we didn't have any family that lived in the town where we lived, and there was no such thing as cell phones back then. So I was driving down the highway with no way to contact anyone and really not many people around that I knew anyway. All of a sudden, as I'm driving down the highway, I got a flat tire. Not a little flat tire, a big blowout flat tire. Luckily, I didn't crash my car and I was able to get my car off to the side of the road. But there I was in a dress and high heels with no phone, no one with me, in a town where I didn't know many people at all, and my husband wasn't even around. What was I gonna do? It was really scary. I didn't know how I was going to get my car fixed, how I was even going to get to work that day. Well, don't you know, just as I got out of my car and was assessing the damage, somebody that my husband worked with happened to drive past and see me in this pretty awful predicament. So he stopped and he helped me. And we got my car to a garage and we got it fixed and I got to work safe and sound. That was really a saving grace in that moment. Think of a time where someone has stopped and helped you. We're going to watch a video. Let's see how our friend Carl was there for his friends.
In 2 Kings chapter 6, we read about how God surrounded Elisha with an army of angels in order to protect Elisha from his enemies. It's so comforting knowing that God is always with those who follow him. How about your own lives? Are there ways that you're always there for the ones you love?
My mom and I check on my grandma almost every day since she fell and hurt her knee.
My little brother likes to do Lego projects. I help him out when I can.
Those are both great examples of how we're always there for the ones that we love. How about you, Carl?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to think about that for a minute. Can you come back to me?
That's okay, Carl. I'm pretty sure something will come to mind. Let's move on. All right, thank you for coming this week. And don't forget to think about ways that you can be there for others just like God is always with us. All right, you guys have a nice night.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you next week, Ben. Yeah. Thanks.
Bye. What? He just ran off? Well, that sounds serious. Okay, I'll be right there.
Oh, hey, Bill, what was that? It sounded serious.
Carl, we gotta go.
Wait, slow down, Bill. What happened?
Carl, Violet was walking her dog Ruger, and he saw a bunny and chased off after it.
No, not Ruger.
She said she looked all over and can't find him anywhere.
Oh, no, we gotta do something.
Carl, I know just the thing.
What?
You know, you have your drone, right?
Yeah, right.
And you know how Pastor Ben was asking you how you could be there for someone, right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
And just how God is there for us, we can be there for Violet.
My drone isn't as cool as God sending angels, but it's the best we got.
Exactly. I'll let Violet know the plan and help her search. You get flying.
Okay, Ruger buddy, I'm coming to find you. Ugh. Ruger, where are you? If I was a dog, where would I be? I know.
there, buddy? We're never gonna find him.
What's that noise?
Yeah, what is that?
It's Carl!
Okay, Ruger, where are you? Oh, there he is! Ha ha!
There's Carl's drone!
And there's Ruger!
Maybe if I chase Ruger into that garage. Yeah, that'll work.
What's Carl doing?
Ruger ran into my neighbor's garage. Let's go check it out. Wow, I'm so glad we found Ruger and he's home safe and sound.
Me too!
I didn't think we'd ever find Ruger, but thanks to you, Carl, we got him.
Yeah, Carl. And just like we talked about in Sunday school, this is a perfect example of how you can be there for your friends.
Yeah, like how God is always there for us.
That's right, Violet. I mean, God doesn't use drones, but he definitely surrounds us with his angels, and he lives in our hearts. God is always with us.
You're totally right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Carl, for being a great friend.
Uh-huh, yeah. Hey, you guys want to go get some cheesy poops?
You know, it's awesome when our friends or family are there when we need them, but no one can be with us all the time, except God. What are some things only God could help you with? What's comforting about knowing God is always with you? God is always with us. We may have good friends like Carl who try to be there to help us, but only God can always be there for us. All right, so to finish today's lesson, we're going to do a very simple craft. And to do this craft, you will need a couple supplies, and this is what they are. A small piece of paperboard or cardstock paper, just paper that's a little bit heavier than normal paper, I think will work best. Some Scotch tape, a hole punch, any type of markers will do for decorating, and to make the craft extra fun, a glow bracelet, a glow stick, something that glows, okay? Before we start today's craft, I have a question for you. Have you ever heard someone say, "I'm going through a dark time"? If you have, you may understand, or maybe you don't, that what they're saying is they're going through a hard time. Dark time can be another way of saying that they're having some struggles right now and they're feeling down and out. So that's kind of what we're thinking about as we do this craft today. You're going to take, well, this is my little guy, and I'll explain it more to you in a minute. You're going to take your piece of paperboard or cardstock, and I just folded mine in half so it would stand up kind of like a tent, but you can roll it into a circle. You could, I forgot to say this, you could also use a toilet paper roll or a paper towel roll. Those would probably work pretty easily as well. And then you're going to want to put some sort of face. So when you look at mine, I've got just eyes, nose, mouth, nothing real sophisticated, not an artsy person. And then I put a little message here that says, God is always with us, because that's what we're learning about today. So you could take your hole punch and put a couple eyes on there. Pretty simple, right? And then you could decorate those eyes. Like I chose, I think, blue eyes on the one I made at home. So this time I'm going to choose to put brown eyes on this one. And then I also drew some eyelashes. I guess who doesn't like a fun character with some fancy eyelashes? And a nose of any sort. And a mouth. I'm just going to do a traditional smiley face on this one. And then, last but not least, our message of God is always with us. Now, you are free to decorate yours more than that. You can make it as fancy as you want or as simple as you want. Okay, here's where it gets fun. You're going to get a glow stick and break it up. And then I'm going to tape it on the inside so that it's covering the 2 holes that I hole punched on the back. Okay, so this is where the tape comes in. And I'm just going to tape that in place. Like that. And there's my 2 little friends. Now, I'm going to show you how cool these can actually be. So now you can see how cool it looks, right? How it's glowing in the dark. A few minutes ago, when I first showed you mine, you probably didn't even notice, right? That there was something in there. But now you can see it all lit up. Boys and girls, that's just like God in our lives. You may not be able to see him, but he's there all the time. You just don't even realize it. So have fun making this craft and remember that God is always with you. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.